what I want to talk about today is also another personal experience, but I'm going to approach it more grand scheme, which is the Sudanese Revolution. Now, some of you guys may have heard of it. Maybe you guys saw the blue display pictures on your friends' social media pages. It's been going viral. Maybe some of you have. Raise your hands if you came across that. Okay, so that's a good majority. That's great. I was expecting at least one person, so that's great. So let's get right into it. The Sudanese Revolution is actually something I witnessed personally. So all of what I'm about to say to you guys is something that I've experienced and saw. And very recently, it was a month before I even started training for Oracle here. So this all took place around June. But however, throughout the last 6 months. And what happened was that there was a dictatorship in Sudan for 30 years. This man was named Omar al-Bashir, big bad guy. He's the one who actually orchestrated the Darfur genocide, which he did an ethnic cleansing of black minority groups in the western area of Sudan, which is Darfur. And he used the scapegoat of this new militia group, I use the word of the day, of this militia group called the Janjaweed. Now, Janjaweed, may sound like a gang who sells weed, but they don't. They literally put two words, ganja and weed, together. Not the smartest. But what it stands for is devils on horseback, and devils they are, because they are the most ruthless militia group. They have no standards. They are people, not even Sudanese. They came from Chad, they came from different countries around Central Africa and East Africa. And the whole problem is that the dictatorship of Omar al-Bashir has led to so many economic problems. For example, high inflation. Secondly, another issue of very bad foreign policy. So America actually implemented sanctions to Sudan in 1997 because they thought, well, at the time, Bill Clinton, who was the president back then, thought that Sudan was harboring terrorism because actually, in fact, Osama bin Laden used to live in Sudan. But this was before he committed some of the crimes in the early 90s, in the late 90s. And the people just had enough, could not take it anymore. Imagine a country where, when you look outside, here in LA, we have very nice pavement and great infrastructure, good government. I would argue, good argument. Somewhat stable government. In Sudan, what you would see outside is sand, lots of poor infrastructure. The power and electricity atmosphere over there is pretty much prepaid, which means that you have to go to a Ministry of Electricity, or pretty much a Home Depot, and go there and purchase credit for electricity. And now that's for any person, no matter how rich you are, how big of your house is, or how small your house is, no matter what class. And also, there's so many issues of education. Now, if you were educated in a public school, you're not going anywhere. And that was the hard truth. You would either just have to go to the military or stay in Sudan. And the problem is that when you stay in Sudan, it's very hard for you to progress. So overall, this country wasn't going anywhere. We didn't have foreign investments. People had such a negative attitude. And when I used to live there and did high school, I got some of that. But I was so privileged. I went to a top-notch private school. There was only 3 over there. That one had IB, International Baccalaureate. So I was very lucky, and I'm I would say, I feel like one of the 10% people from Sudan who made it out. And were able, because of my parents were able to help me. But back to the revolution itself. This revolution was created and also led by women, which is amazing because for a male-dominated country like Sudan, this was unrevolutionary. This is revolutionary, my thought. And throughout this last 6 months, Sudan has saw multiple demonstrations, people on the streets fighting for what they believed in. And it was scary to see because the Janjaweed, who were the militia, came in after a while, after the protests increased. And what they did is invoke violence. And these were all peaceful protests. No one shot a bullet. Not a single one. Not a single person committed a crime other than fighting for what they believe in. And unfortunately, there were so many deaths. There was over 500 deaths, over 120 of sexual assault cases from the Janjaweed. Like I said, there are indeed doubles. And reports of over 1,000 people missing. Now, that's where the most depressing part is. 1,000 people are missing. There's actually proof that most of the people who are missing are actually in the Nile River because they were drowned to death, because they were protesting. And on June 3rd, this is a very important day. On June 3rd, the biggest massacre I've ever witnessed occurred 1.5 miles away from my house. And I could hear it, and the only way I could hear it was that I woke up to gunshots. And at first I thought it was someone farting. But it wasn't, because every time I got closer, I was like, who's farting now? Someone ate too many beans yesterday. But I woke up to this and I realized that there was something happening. And then also, when this happened, there was an internet block, meaning no one had access to internet for over a month, from that day until June 23rd. So imagine, you can't cry about your pain, you can't do all this. But still, the people fought. And the people still found ways to find a way to bring the communities together and find this to change. Now, luckily, with all this happening, the massacre, and you have the Janjaweed taking over the streets. So now they occupied the country, but people still fought. And then miraculously, I don't know how, after 3 weeks, from June 3rd, so after 3 weeks, the people fought so much that the government had to listen, and they did. And then they won, which meant that the new government was formed, and the process of transformation government council, TMC, was created, and now Sudan is on the way to get to form a new democratic government. And this is perfect because now we have a new prime minister who just recently started, and now Sudan is at a place where it's leaving where it was like doomed for 30 years, and now it's on a path to something great. So overall, this is just proof that change is great, and it can come even when you think it's 30, even when you think it can never be possible. So that's one of the things I learned. And I hope now you guys can now talk about it with anyone else. Yeah, thank you for listening.